The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show. It's brought to you with Levi Solicitors. 10% discount on your legal fees. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. It's 15% discount on your legal fees, by the way, for conveyancing instructions received by the 31st of January 2022. So check that out on the website. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Usual three with you. Dan, with Michael, and Moscow. Doing part 3 for you now then, which is Heroes and Villains. And we start with the Ken Bates Villain of the Week award. Someone what has done wrong by us, and our TSB Plus members give us feedback on this, as well as chucking our own ideas into the pot. Ref and VAR featuring highly on the list for this one. No surprises there, etc.
Yeah, I think we've probably talked this to death, haven't we now?
Yeah. Oh, we haven't mentioned the PGMOL as well, the Professional Game Match of Love.
That's the one.
The people who run the refs, yeah.
I always think it sounds like a golf association.
Yeah.
And I wonder why they're commenting on football, and then I remember what it stands for.
Yes. Anyway,
which is
referees.
Hate.
Yeah. Referees, anyway, they're all knobheads. And mind you, that is one thing that has come to light this week. I think it was Henry Winter who tweeted there was a little bit of dissatisfaction among the refs who are operating under, it's Mike Riley, isn't it? Former ref Mike Riley, who runs the golf people body, and they're sort of suggesting they're not enjoying particularly being on the receiving end of criticism, and just be better at your jobs then. Is that a way out of it?
I don't feel like anyone enjoys this though. I feel like it's made it impossible for anyone to have a nice time, because you saw, as much as old referees used to annoy you, like David Ellery had a right shit-eating grin, didn't he, sometimes, while dishing out some bad decisions. You don't get the feeling most refs are enjoying it now. They're just constantly, and now that rather than have just players shout at them, they now have to go, yeah, they're checking it. Fucking hell. You can see the look on the face of just like, we're all bored of this.
Nobody wanted to watch other people just standing around waiting. And that's what this has resulted in, and it's not fun.
Lean Cheese says Stuart Atwell deserves a nomination because he bears a resemblance to Tom Hanks but couldn't survive on an island with a football, as he wouldn't know where to position himself to be onside, which... that tickled me. We've had the usual Stevie Wonder references and so on and so forth. Unaccountable Wankers features.
Although credit to James Milne for dragging Helen Keller into this. She always gets forgotten.
And Philip, in particular, thinks that VAR stands for vacant arsehole refereeing.
Helen Keller would improve things. She was actually competent. And Stevie Wonder was a brilliant musician. So it makes you wonder what the actual referee's excuse is. When one of them has written a song as good as Superstition, then maybe we'll let them referee a Premier League match. That can be the new threshold.
We've got West Ham Stadium, the London Stadium.
Stevie Wonder's still alive, by the way. I did just look that up.
I didn't say otherwise, did I?
Yeah, he said he was a brilliant musician, and I thought
it's not as good as he used to be.
Has he died? I think he had, but I thought I'd check.
What was his last hit? See,
yeah, that one.
I just called to say I love you.
I can't believe he's calling out Stevie Wonder.
No, I was saying Stevie Wonder sets a very it sets the standard that referees should be.
Okay.
Moscow trashing Stevie Wonder.
Trash. I love Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. When was his last hit then, Moscow?
Well, ages ago.
I'm just going to look actually at the website.
Some pretty.
Everyhit.com gives you everything that's been in the charts. It stopped doing it now because the charts
with
are
Michael
pointless,
Jackson.
I think this is it. He's got roped into some kind of modern stuff that was kind of beneath him, and didn't bring out his best. It's like when
I'll tell you.
If you catch the Bee Gees on Top of the Pops from 2002. It's well past the time when the Bee Gees should have been doing anything, but you can't really argue with the Manhattan mining disaster.
His first UK chart hit was Uptight, Everything's Alright. That was February 1966. Then we obviously go through My Sharia Moore and all the other stuff, that Superstition in the 70s and so on, right through to his latest hit, Stevie Wonder, So What's the Fuss? Do you remember that from May 2005?
No.
That got to number 19 in the charts. But obviously you'll remember the big hit before that was the collab with Blue. Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours from December 2003.
God, I don't remember that at all.
This is it.
I'm not sure how much input Stevie Wonder had to that, apart from it was his song and he probably just wanted credit in on it. But
fair enough, take the money.
Teamed up with Blue. And then he did have a hit with Michael Jackson, which was Get It, which made it to number 37 in May 1988.
Wow. Okay, well, that's... so Stevie Wonder, we're doing villains.
Stevie Wonder is and always will be a hero.
A hero,
Yeah.
Okay.
The West Ham Stadium, just Nathan's comments. He was saying it's utterly soulless corporate shithole with stalls selling hot dogs and popcorn at prices that will bring Michael out in a cold sweat. Makes me appreciate our dilapidated, crumbling Ellen Road even more. And plus points, though, for playing Iron Maiden and Motorhead at half-time.
On the one clip I didn't include because there was basically no usable audio from it. There's someone called, I think he's called Jojo. He was another tourist going to this game.
Did he have to leave?
Get out.
It's a Jojo joke.
I got it.
Yeah.
You didn't, though, did you?
I know what he's doing. It's always the same. But he went to buy a scarf from outside the ground. Do you know how much it was for a scarf?
£20.
£15.
It's an expensive scarf. How much is a square ball scarf?
£10.
I mean, that's the right price for a scarf, isn't
And
it?
that's nicer as well. That's actually nice material. This was one of those standard, the Jamie Bamford ones. It was one of those.
I kind of regret
ones.
not getting a Jamie Bamford scarf.
It would have been a nice collector's item.
Collector's item, yeah. We should have had it in here, shouldn't we, if we'd have thought about
It's like
it.
the coins that occasionally get misprinted. It's probably worth,
£10 now,
yeah.
rather than 8.
But the square ball scarves, you can get them from the squareball.net, can't you?
You can, yeah.
And then you go on the menu and click merchandise, and it's not just scarves, but there's t-shirts, hoodies, all sorts. Yeah, that's beautifully embroidered.
Although this isn't actually available. This one, this is
And we're long since sold out of this.
special stuff.
All my other stuff's in the wash.
that just speaks to the quality, isn't it? That it sold out so quickly. So it's the squareball.net, isn't it, for a £10 scarf?
/merch.
Because it is quite cold out there.
It is, yes.
Keep your neck warm.
Right.
My advice.
Some of the West Ham specific nominations then. Bowen got a single solitary mention by Jim, who just says Bowen twat.
Which is confusing because it now says on the sheet
Jim Bowen.
Jim Bowen twat, which is
not true.
Which is not true.
They always struck me as an everyman.
Exactly. Again, a bit like Stevie Wonder, you could say best work was in the 80s.
Although if you are, 20 years on and you're still staring at that speedboat on your driveway, you might curse his name from time to time. Man, bully.
Yeah, Vlasic got a few as well for diving around.
Yeah,
which is absolutely fair enough. He did at least 2 proper dives, didn't he, Vlasic?
Just worth pointing out that Jim Bowen did die 4 years ago.
I did know that.
Yeah, I just wanted to, just for the record.
Yes.
So it's likely that his best work is behind him.
Well, I said the 80s. I mean,
yeah.
There was a reboot of Bullseye, wasn't there, as well, at some point that he was on. It wasn't as good as the original. Anyway, has Vlasic ever been on Bullseye?
No.
No. Okay. Right. Fine. It's uncomplicated then.
It's just reminded me though. Actually, talking about telly, what was that? Do you remember that? It was some sort of reality show where they taught loads of celebrities to do high diving because Vlasic is picked up
Splash,
for diving.
it was
Splash.
called.
Could you imagine trying to get away with that now? The release forms for bloody injuries and all sorts of stuff. Anyway.
One of ITV's finest shows, and ITV actually did get 2 nominations. Marvin for the commentator, I guess, for the Glick thing going on. What was the commentator's name? Not Matterface. Something else. Good. And John P for upgrading.
Seb
Hutchinson. That's it. John P for upgrading to HD cameras. He seems to have only just got HD. Does John? But having to see David Moyes.
Welcome to 2012. There,
such great detail. So. bit of an obscure nomination.
He does say that David Moyes' face does look like a scrotum in HD, which I enjoyed. That was a nice line.
On the subject of diving, it's reminded me that Calvin Phillips was bought a skydiving experience by his mum for Christmas,
which he won't be allowed to use probably because of his
exactly. He says because of what I do, I'm not allowed to do it because it's an extreme activity, and then he sort of said he wouldn't have been that interested in doing it anyway. And although he I don't know if he's trying to tough it out here, he's like, it's not that I'm scared, it's just something that's never interested me. Jumping out of a plane to certain doom. Not certain doom, because I guess the parachute gives you a chance, doesn't it? But
echoes of David Batty and his motorbikes, where they weren't allowed to use them for the same reason way back when, and yet he's just did it anyway.
Well, yeah, didn't he ride it into training? After they told him not to do it, he started riding it to work because that's David Batty, whereas Calvin is a little bit more pliable. But it's good on Calvin's mum for buying him such an impractical gift.
Can you tell me who won the first season of Splash?
I'm going to
I feel
say
this is really important.
Denise Van Outen.
Well, I'm going to stick with the theme and say Jamie Theakston.
You're both in the right era of celeb.
Zoe Ball.
It was Linda Barker.
Oh,
Who's Linda Barker?
She was on Changing Rooms and that sort of thing. Eddie the Eagle second, and
no,
Jake,
hang on.
and Jake Canuso.
That's not correct. I'm on Wikipedia now, and it says that Eddie the Eagle Edwards won the first series, and Linda finished third.
Oh, hang on. Maybe this is the... Oh, I don't know.
Steward's Inquiry here.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So I'm going to say...
The way Wikipedia's listed them, she's won, but that must be the order they
I'm going to say Eddie the Eagle Edwards.
It was Eddie the Eagle Edwards, yes. Oh, that's good for him. It's good for him to win
He
something.
did win through in the end.
Yeah, and there was another series too, but I mean, we probably don't need to.
I would like to know who won Series 2, please.
I don't even know who that is, actually.
Who was the top three?
Right. Okay, so the...
Gold, silver and bronze.
All right, so third place, I'll give you a clue. Third place was former member of a boy band.
Okay. Is it one of Blue?
Keith Duffy.
You're reading it
a quiz, you prick. I'm
Aren't
setting
you
him
just
a
reading it
quiz.
off the page?
Oh, no, I've not got it open.
Well, who was
really?
it then?
Have you guessed that?
Yeah.
I don't believe you. You just had the page open.
I've got West Ham. That's West Ham's ground development open.
Check all your tabs.
Yeah, look. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Keith. All right, and you're not a prick. Well done.
So Duffy third. Another major celeb. Because I'd say Duffy actually is actually legitimately famous.
I think
Not Ronan Keating, is he?
I think Duffy is the highest profile of the top three here. Second is Richard Whitehead, who's a Paralympian. Top person who won season 2 of Splash. I'll narrow it down for you because you're going to struggle if I don't give you some parameters. So it's one of the members of Diversity, the street dance group who
so many.
Who won Britain's Got Talent.
So many I know.
Who's your favourite member of Diversity?
It would be Dive, wouldn't it?
Barry from Diversity.
Barry didn't do it.
I think it was Dive rather than Versity because it was a
I've seen
diving splash competition.
It took me a minute, yeah.
I do know the name of one of them. Eventually, the one who's done stuff.
So it was Dive, Versity, and Eventually.
He's been a judge on stuff, hasn't he?
Yeah.
The big lad.
Yeah.
Was it the big lad who won it?
No.
Oh. I don't know the others. The little lad. The little lad they used to throw one of them around.
I think so. It was Perry.
Okay, that one then.
It was Pierre, Perry, Luke Keeley.
Well, there you go.
You're thinking
of third season.
You're thinking of Banjo, aren't you? By the way, Jordan Banjo.
That's probably it. Or Ashley Banjo.
Oh, sorry, yes.
That's what I'm thinking of.
His brother is Jordan, isn't it?
Was there a third season?
No. I think they got shut down because of. Well, you worked for ITV, Michael.
I worked for them at this time.
There's an official reason, but what's the real reason?
I think people didn't watch it. I think is the simple answer. I think the first series, everyone went, God, this is terrible. But then people watched it because it was terrible. But then by the time the second series came around, people were like, no, that joke's not funny anymore. It's bad. Just
to pull something good from the Wikipedia page before we get back to
who were the judges?
Oh, some people.
Oh, apparently you could see Keith Duffy's bum.
Woohoo!
Well,
a wardrobe malfunction.
You know, Tina Malone, the soap star, made comments in an interview with radio station Juice FM several days before her appearance on the show. She called this and other reality shows garbage, as well as stating that it's the big fat checks that make me happy.
There you go.
Fair play.
Oh, Joe Brand was a judge on it. That was the really weird thing. Joe Brand, Andy Banks and Leon Taylor. Well, there you go.
Great bunch of lads.
Great bunch of lads and Joe Brand. Who's a woman. I don't know if you know.
Anyway.
Back to this.
Heroes and villains. Yeah, well, that came from talking about diving, didn't it, and Vlasic. Declan Rice got a nomination, actually. Nathan nominated Declan Rice for shaking his head in the post-match interview when asked if their opener should have stood. Is that not a hero nomination?
I didn't see this, but I assume he's doing a... Of course it should have stood. I don't
know why you even asking me, Shake.
I assume it was one of those shakes.
Right.
Unless he was doing the right thing. He was quite annoyingly good with Declan Rice as well.
Okay.
Well done against Lewis Bate.
David Moyes gets a nomination as well. We mentioned him before. This is an Irish name, which is Irish people. We love you. You're a massive part of our audience. But some of the Gaelic names do trouble us because
they have done it. Has someone else done that for us?
I did that. I had to Google it.
You Googled it, did
so
you?
the name is written AOIBHEANN, and I think that's even.
Okay.
Or Ivan, even kind of vibes. So if we got it wrong, apologies. McGinty, son of Baps, nominated Moyes for being nice about Leeds, giving us platitudes and stuff like that, but while being self-satisfied and looking a bit smug on his face.
He can have it for all his whinging about the fixtures as well. He's like, I think now West Ham are sort of bothering the top four. He's bringing back his sort of sub-Klopp personality, isn't he? He's like all that. I was at Old Trafford for a bit, which is basically his character.
Jordan thinks the FA Cup itself as a concept should have a nomination for being too shit for Bielsa to lower himself to care about it, which I think is absolutely the right approach.
He's just maintaining Leeds traditions, isn't he?
Bielsa does get a couple of nominations as well. Again, it's not ever going to happen, is it really? You know, why would we want to make ourselves the target of attacks for giving this award to Bielsa for any reason?
He's mainly Nathaniel has nominated him for basically being annoyed at Firpo for being injured, which is...
I didn't read his face as annoyed. I saw concern. I don't know if I'm an incredibly bad reader of body language, and all these people who I think over the years have been like worried about me are actually really angry.
Furious.
But I thought he was looking at him like it was more of a like, what's up with you? Are you okay? Kind of thing. There wasn't any element of how dare you come off this pitch merely with a headache or whatever. So I don't know whether I saw it wrong and Nathaniel saw it right. I mean, Nathaniel share half a name anyway, so let's we can differ on the rest of it.
Probably going to get told off for Moscow for bringing this one up, but Joe does pick out Bielsa for persisting with such a small squad and mental training methods which lead to so many injuries. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Depends if it is leading to something, because Bielsa again said on after the game that the games are riskier than the training in his perspective. And you know, when did Firpo came through training fine, didn't he? And then he gets Meslier accidentally, as ITV's commentary pointed out, took him out in the actual match. And then, you know, we've sort of touched on it before, but I don't know what the because he's now, we got more detail at the West Ham game of Joffrey Gelhardt's injury, that it's a teammate fell on him.
Stop falling on each other then.
Yeah, and it's the same thing happened to Charlie Creswell.
You've killed
somebody fell on him
Gelhardt
in an informal training session. So we have this kind of assumption from outside that murder ball is absolutely ruining everybody, but
be gentler and kinder.
It looks more like everybody's coming through murder ball, and then if they're just having a kick about afterwards, that's when they're getting hurt. And then you could say, well, maybe they're being taken to the point of risking further injury because of murder ball, means that they're more fragile the rest of the time. But I'm not sure if that's how exercise makes you weaker.
They are all very skinny. They should start eating more.
It is weird, and I was thinking about it because I knew injuries and stuff would come up. I'm trying to think about what it might all be about, and I did start wondering that because of, we know Bielsa's meticulous attention to detail, and I was thinking, with this injury crisis and so many players being injured, and whether it's down to training or matches, who else would you maybe put in that would be working harder to stop it from happening than Marcelo Bielsa? Because, you know, we know that other managers' solution would be checkbook, and that might be soothing in some ways, but we also know that Bielsa will be probably working every hour he has available to try and prevent what's happening. So he needs to work a little bit harder then, doesn't he?
Yes, one just final nomination for villainy. I want to nominate preemptively Mike Dean and Craig Pawson for what they're going to do to us on Sunday.
That's fine too.
Pick yourself a villain of the week then.
I think VAR gets it by virtue of the number of nominations here, I think, and you know,
I'm almost sad we've got to do it, but we have to, don't we?
We didn't do a roundup of the people. It was Ken Taylor, West End Ralph, Lee and Cheese, J. Sam, James Milne, Sham Phillip, Missing Teeth, Jerry Fergus, Toby Lerone, and there's probably more that probably didn't make it onto the sheet as well.
Because Michael's lazy.
Not as much feedback as normal, it must be said. I think there was a general apathy around this game because people just went, well, just move on. Just move on to the next one.
It is weird. It's only a week since Bielsa and Pablo Quiroga were breaking everybody's hearts with that hug on the touchline as we celebrated the dominant, fantastic 3-1 victory over Burnley that sort of signalled that 2022 is going to be the year that we thrive and flourish in the Premier League. So Let's get back to that.
It's time for the Gaetano Berardi Hero of the Week now then, and nominations, lots of them coming in for Hjelde for his good sterling performance at the London Stadium on Sunday. Other players, Meslier gets one by Jim for going up for the corner. What did you describe him as on the website, Moscow, in your report? It was something like...
it was a beloved randomiser.
Yeah.
That was the only bit of like FA Cup fun we had, was a keeper going up for a corner, and I was determined to make the most of it and enjoy it to its fullest, even if West Ham did score.
Click gets a nomination, as does Glick, the new guy. Thanks to Marvin for that.
They were both good, weren't
nomination. Llorente gets a nomination by Philip. Says Llorente was great today. Barely gave Antonio a sniff. Koch was good too. Bate, as he's known, did bits too. And the fans, as always, immense. I'm not sure about Llorente. He was all right.
I thought Koch. I'm not sure about Koch there either. I think he does fairly well. He just doesn't do it like a midfielder, I think, is the thing. I think we really miss someone to receive the ball in the same way as Phillips and Forshaw do.
I think Koch needs to play like a season there, and then he'll probably grow into the role. So next season, after we've sold Calvin to Scum,
perfect,
he can he'll blend right in.
Another Leeds player who was nominated but not related to this one was our own Olivia Smart as well, who we sponsor from the LUFC women's team, who has absolutely smashed it out of the park this week. Now a qualified advanced surgical care practitioner, been working for the best part of 3 years to get to where she is now, as well as playing for Leeds United women, and presumably having a life away from all that as well. Which, again, just to point you back at it, if you are a TSB Plus member, have a look at the video and the audio interview as well on your Extra Ball feed when we spoke to Olivia. Fair to say she's quite inspirational.
Did you know what they do?
What do they do?
They support surgeons and other professionals before, during and after surgical procedures. Surgical care practitioners provide care in an operating theatre, on wards and in clinics. They are trained to undertake some surgical procedures. So that's good. So we've basically got a surgeon. That's what I'm saying. Have you got anything you want doing?
Quite a bit, to be honest.
Yeah, get some lines sorted out.
Yeah, but they'll sort the crow's feet.
Yeah. So about now, genuinely well done. It's a proper job, that.
Could get stuck into Pat Bamford's hip.
Yeah.
The women also provided the one sort of sensible scoreline of the weekend, which was
13-0.
13-0 away to Bradford Park Avenue in the County Cup. That's how you deal with a cup competition.
Yeah.
Beat them 13-0. That was so that's good for them. Good range of scorers as well. I think there were 3 braces and a hat-trick.
Excellent.
That's and that always looks good
on a caption. Yeah, it looks brilliant, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You never quite know where the commas should go and what order to put them in. Love it.
So that all worked out pretty well.
Elsewhere, the fans who travelled on Sunday get some love. Nearly 9,000 in London. No trains, obviously, as we mentioned. Like the Leeds First Bus people got a bit of stick by us week before for the West Ham game, for the Burnley game, beg your pardon, because there were no buses on for the match. And it was somebody did tweet us, by the way, taking responsibility for that, because he's the bus driver in Leeds. He says, "I'll take one for the team," kind of thing. But seems to think it was because there was no bus access to the station area around New Year for some reasons, whatever they might be. Could have looked it up. Didn't know, didn't I?
Fair enough.
Anyway, by the by, back to this. Yeah, no travel, terrible stadium, shit kick-off time, half a mile from the pitch, and so on and so forth. John P picks out all those things.
Going to London at all is just, I don't know why you do it, but respect to those who did.
Some people choose to live there. Can you believe that?
And no.
Millions. Dick Van Dijk receives a nomination for being more authentic Cockney than whatever West Ham supporters turned into.
That was your performance on the match ball, Moscow, wasn't it?
Since they moved into that athletic stadium. It was Dick Van Shitbitch came out of the first West Ham game, didn't it? That's the main thing. As well as us getting a point, obviously, was that Dick Van Shitbitch was born. Is that it?
I mean, there's another preemptive one. Nathaniel wants to pick out our new signing preemptively, whoever it is that we make. Whichever brilliant first team signing we make between now and Sunday.
The big lad from Lazio.
Yeah.
Straight into the team.
Yeah, undoubtedly be making their debut against West Ham away.
What about that young Spanish lad we signed the other week?
Mateo Joseph.
What's he doing? Sat with his feet up.
Well, he won't be able to be doing laps of Thorpe Arch getting ready.
He didn't play in the 23s?
No, he wasn't in the squad either. So he's
or wasting money.
It's just treating it as a holiday so far, isn't he?
Just tidying up the other ones as well. Mark Jackson gets some love by missing teeth for producing central defenders that refuse to be bullied by Antonio. Yeah. And he's also bearing the brunt of our injury crisis as well, as we were saying, because everyone's been moved up an age group. Jermaine Defoe's punditry, at least they had the balls to say the goal was offside and shouldn't have been awarded. That was Ethan McGinty as well, the one who tripped me up earlier by having a fancy name. Is that everyone? Who else? Who's going to have it then? Sorry.
Yelder, probably. Most nominations. I thought he did well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, a shining light in what was a fairly crap, low-key weekend.
I think it says a lot that kind of the player who stood out was a centre-back. That's the kind of game it was. So we can we'll continue the theme and give him an award.
And that does wrap it up then for this episode of the Weekly Show number 259. Check out the Buttercup if you're a TSB Plus member as well, which will maintain some interest in at least one cup competition this season.
The best cup competition.
For Leeds fans, where we are pitting all our loanees, 64 of them, against one another. Third round has been finished, hasn't it? You've got the fourth round qualifiers there.
Some juicy ties. Alan Tate versus Jamie Clapham.
Don't you mean Alan Tete?
Alan Tate. Yes. There's who else is on there? Nathan Blake.
No, that's Nathan Blake.
That's Nathan Blake. Yeah.
Be sensible about this.
Connor Wickham. He's playing Connor Wickham, so that's good. Big ties.
So yes, there's definitely two. It feels like because Lineker and Shearer started having a desperate conversation on the FA Cup coverage last night. I was like, it's been a brilliant weekend, hasn't it? Of FA, oh yes, the real glory of the cup. I think it's bloody terrible. I don't know what you're talking about. Newcastle lost, and that's funny, but the rest of it was dire.
There's nothing terrible about Mustafa Carriol against Hogan Ephraim, is there?
That'll be on the telly, won't it? That'll be on the telly. Hey, listen, thank you.
Isn't there? What's the Kyle Bartley one? That's the big.
Kyle Bartley. He's away at Kishishev.
I think that's a tough one because Kishishev was a real lion of getting relegated.
We are picking the winner by simple majority in the studio. Like Phil Hay joined us for the third round. We'll probably force this fourth round tie upon him. These fourth round ties upon him as well when he's not expecting it. But the simple majority can be overruled by the magic of the cup, which is a roll of a dice. So it's all to play for. It is all to play for. We shouldn't assume that Bartley's going to win it just because he is the hot favourite.
All I'm saying, Tony Capaldi, you're still in there.
Yeah.
The roll of a dice. And is there some new element for this fourth round?
Probably.
I'm trying to build it up.
Yes.
Not telling. I'm going to be like Gary McSheffrey when asked what his new tactics were going to be.
But there will be something.
I'm not going to. Yeah.
So it's definitely.
But I'm not going to tell you.
Worth. Because this
about
is
it.
Yeah. You've got to sign up to TSB Plus and be a member of that to watch and listen to the rest of this, haven't you? So you'll be. If you don't do that, you'll miss some kind of something quite good
that's not been thrown together or winged at all.
I tried anyway. Just buy a scarf.
Let's just wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with the Weekly Show. In the meantime, we'll be back to discuss West Ham, won't we?
Again.
On the match ball.
For the final time this season.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.